We woke up at 5 a.m. on a cold, dark Christmas Eve morning. Now we're heading for Shimanami Station. The weather forecast for the last few days has said heavy rain will begin in the area at 1 p.m. This train arrives at 1 p.m. Thankfully, there's no rain yet, but there's most definitely excitement in the air. And so it begins, the splendid Shimanami Kaido island hopping bike route. The first of many bridges. We've been riding almost 2 hours, still no rain, and it's time for a quick break. Naturally, an erudite discussion. Is that the guy from the train?
It's him.
Konnichiwa. We can't believe our luck. Still no rain. A lonely winter seaside. A quick stop. We just need to ride to the other side of this island and we've done for the day. Not bad. We can't complain. We've stopped now to put on our rain suits, but we're only about 2 clicks from our destination. This very unusual long passage serves as an entrance to the shrine. Strangely, a sofa, armchair and a makeshift table. We planned to camp inside the shrine. Instead, we've made ourselves at home. This is why we're not camping inside the shrine. A severe storm or neglect, who knows? But that pile of broken wood is where our tent should be. Beautifully calm despite the rain. Such amazing and super dry comfort. The lantern's a headlamp inside the handlebar bag's rain cover. During the night, the peaceful rain and sea transformed into a raging storm. Now, the wind is blustery and belligerent. the shrine broken, the path is actually closed off, protecting people from piles of old wood. Superior eye and hand coordination allows me to cunningly unclose the path. It's a pretty bad onsen, but nice to warm up. The first sunshine. There's no denying this is a damn nice ride. There's actually a park on the top of that island. Now, the final and longest bridge to Shikoku. The last corner and the last kilometer. That's the campground ahead. It's a free campground, as are many in Shikoku, and you can see it's absolutely calm and peaceful. Amazingly, on the other side of this headland, there's a roaring gale force wind. It really is a lovely spot, and once again, we have all the comforts of home. And now, we're going around to the other side of the headland. We've been here before and not expecting anything special. Winds that want to blow you over, but oh boy. This trip, I'd imagined cold evenings and long hours of boredom staying warm inside the tent. But now, for the second time, sitting outside, eating, drinking and chatting seemed not only doable, but enjoyable. The morning ride was a mix of rain, wind and sun. I'm not sure why, but we took the coastal road rather than the inland route. Big blunder. The main road became increasingly busy. Now and then we escaped onto these side roads. Now you can see what the road was actually like. Just a few more clicks to the small town of Hojo. It was a windy ride, but nothing like this. We do have some shelter where we camped, but still it's windy and very cold. We cook in the vestibule. Not bad for camping food. There's an embankment and the tree obstructing some of the wind. Yes, this supermarket actually has a place where you can sit and eat the stuff you just bought. In this case, a sushi breakfast.
Yeah, this way.
This is our first mountain pass route and I can tell you it was hard going but just so enjoyable. And not least because, away from the coast, there was pretty much no wind anymore. And what are those black screens? They're hiding these cut logs upon which grow very, very expensive mushrooms. Up we go, ever higher, and so lovely. We keep thinking this must be the summit, but around the next corner, ever higher. We come upon a half-hidden track. We're at high altitude and in the middle of nowhere. Yuki's nervous. Such incredible hand-built walls. haunted house. But who lived here? Why? And how?
Come and look.
Ever higher and ever colder. And now we're feeling very tired and the exhilarating fun is fast fading. From here, we missed our turning and reached the windy and snow-dusted summit. We turned back, found the correct road, and then began the descent. This is looking back, because now we're most of the way down the other side. There's no video of the descent because we froze to death. Our entire bodies completely frozen. Finally, we reached the town and head for the supermarket. The park where I'd planned to camp was not as pleasant as I'd hoped, but we found a nice corner.
Big bun.
After a visit to a strange indoor onsen, we finally had lunch in this open, windy park. Now, up to Matsuyama Castle. That's where we sat for lunch. Back at the bottom, this is where some of the castle's outbuildings were located. See that tea house up there? This is that tea house up there. Dogo Onsen. This particular building is just over 100 years old, but the onsen has a history going back over 1,000 years. I'm not quite sure when the hippies took over. It's hard to see, but this is a footbath of lovely warm onsen water, so we happily sat, bathing our feet and drinking beer for at least a couple of hours. And a peculiar onsen advertisement disguised as a musical clock. The same park, though a better place at the top of the hill.
Ready?
A hard though nice route. Unfortunately and idiotically, the road came to a sudden end just after this, and we realized we were obviously going the wrong way. Finally back on track. Rural convenience stores are starting to have places where you can sit and eat the stuff you just bought. The distant corner of a sports park, several clicks into the hills. Once more, amazing comfort. And another very pleasant evening. Now in the historical area of Uchiko. This is what Japan was like 100 years ago. planned route was following this awful road. Luckily, after a few clicks, we spotted a riverside path. You can never get there too fast. Yuki's chatting to a friendly retired biker. There's Ozu Castle. We've spotted a place to eat a late lunch, and it's also one of 2 potential campsites I'd planned. Now in search of a supermarket. It's actually New Year's Eve, so all the cooked food was a bit on the fancy side. This is assorted seafood. And this was my other possible campsite. A bunch of floodlights convinced me otherwise. As the day comes to another early end, a leisurely ride around the neighborhood. This place was so comfortable, I managed to leave without my glasses and had to ride back from the riverside camp to get them. A room with a view, without the room. It's a cold, rainy morning and we're off to the onsen. Now we're just hanging about waiting for the rain to stop. Still raining, but what the heck. Now and then we escape into a parallel side road. We're at the seaside, and this hard to find and hard to get to hillside park provided great shelter from strong winds. You can see us going down, but coming up in the dark was very hard going. Hundreds of steps, carrying the bikes, going back for the panniers. That's the hill where we camped. This was actually my first choice for camping, inside the castle grounds, but this is the only entrance and it's locked at 5 p.m. The hill in the middle is where we camped. so began another really great ride. First, a long climb. Then, for the rest of the day, we seemed to go downhill. And with a strong tailwind, we were just flying along. This is the Kurasan River. Traffic got pretty bad here. Now, we're finally on the Shimanto River. It's the 1st of January. We have almost no food in our bags, and the shop here only sells expensive holiday gift grub. You can see it's pretty windy out there. Such a great ride. The rising moon doesn't look like much in wide-angled video, though it was actually extremely lovely. Nakamura town, and this was a stroke of luck. A local festival and, right opposite, an open supermarket. We're on a real campground with fire pits. We try to practice leave no trace camping, so it was a real treat to have a fire for the evening. Yuki was having a quick chat with that pilgrim. He's doing a section of the 88 temple course. I planned to camp beside a lighthouse further down the coast, but this place looked promising. We quickly decide to camp here, ride 6 clicks to the supermarket, then back again. This is a farmer's track parallel to the beach. That's the pilgrim's tent. Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to talk to him again. The music means it's 5 p.m. We're wondering why the photographers are staying so late. These sleeping mat to seat conversion sleeves are new for this trip and give us fantastic comfort. The condominium on the hillside is empty and abandoned. Again, you need to use your imagination, because this is an actual super moonrise of a super moon. I've never seen a moon so amazing in my life. And such a lovely morning. This is the supermarket town where we rode the day before. We checked the map and decided to forget the lighthouse route. It's been a long ride and all uphill. It's 3:30 now and really time for a break.
Ooh, looks good.
Finally, from this point it's all downhill. The tent's up. And after the super moonrise yesterday, we're treated to this unexpected sunset. We woke up very early. It's only 7. The reason is that's an onsen on top of the hill, and the morning bath time finishes at 8. Now this is where I'd planned to camp. Problem 1, it's still very early. Problem 2, although we have some food, there's no drinking water here and the nearest shop is 10 clicks further up the road. Problem 3, heavy rain in the morning, and this is in the middle of nowhere. Final problem, I actually have no plan for the last few days. To accompany our lunch, I cooked up a new plan. We're heading towards Uwajima. Winter days are short. You can hear it's 5 p.m. We've turned off the main road and find this amazing place to camp. It's very old and some of the trees are ancient. The new plan requires an early rise. It's 7:30 and already raining. This is no ordinary bell ringing. This is the traditional New Year's shrine visit. The paper tells her fortune.
Good one?
Very good one.
It's because we camped here.
The new plan involves taking a train. That's the castle riverside where we camped. And another train. And another train. And another train. and the new plan seems to involve taking a ferry. All this cunningly designed to get us comfortably through an entire morning of heavy rain. We seem to be going to Hiroshima. Apart from being new, it suddenly doesn't seem like much of a plan. The ferry ride though is lovely. The inland sea is so calm it feels like the ferry isn't even moving. Of course we're not going to Hiroshima. The new plan is a Miyajima plan. It's not often we'd get off and push, but this is one of the hilliest roads I've ever been on. Those are oyster beds. And now back again. After camping again in the same deer seaside park, we start a hike to the mountain top. Our final evening. That's a hotel on the right, and we'll cheekily be camping on the hill on the left. Not sure what that spacey music is all about. It's 7 p.m, raining, and early to bed, early to rise. Still raining and 7 a.m. We chose this place because it's only a few hundred meters from the ferry terminal. As Miyajima begins to wake up, our trip is already fading into something like a dream.